Hello once again, everybody. Going to update you on what's happening with Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, the LSU Fighting Tigers, along with the Sun Belt Conference and the Southeastern Conference. Last Saturday evening at Cajun Field, Louisiana's Raging Cajun football team opened up their Sun Belt Conference regular season schedule in fine fashion as Coach Ricky Bustle's squad captured a come-from-behind 38-34 victory over the North Texas Mean Green. Chris Mason hit Marlon Miller with a 4-yard touchdown pass with 27 seconds remaining to lift the Cajuns to the 38-34 victory. Cajuns trailed it 34-24 going into the fourth quarter, but they scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, including the game-winning touchdown with 27 seconds left to lift him to the victory. Cajuns were outgained in the game badly by North Texas. North Texas had 235 yards rushing, 209 yards passing. The Cajuns with only 173 rushing yards and 122 passing yards. But the Cajuns made the critical plays at the critical times. They came up with a defensive touchdown, also a special teams touchdown, and they wound up winning the game again 38-34. So the Cajuns 3-2 overall on the year now, and 1-0 in Sun Belt Conference play. Cajuns return to action this coming Saturday. They'll be in Bowling Green, Kentucky to take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in Sun Belt Conference action. 6 o'clock kickoff time. You can hear the broadcast here on Sports Radio ESPN 1420, ESPN1420.com, and the Raging Cajun Radio Network beginning at 6:30. Rest of the Sun Belt Conference School Board from this past week. Actually, there was a game on Tuesday evening as Troy defeated Middle Tennessee 31-7 in Troy, Alabama. They remain undefeated in Sun Belt Conference play. Also, in a game played on Saturday, it was FIU going over to Bowling Green and knocking off Western Kentucky 37-20. So your updated Sun Belt Conference standings as we speak right now. Troy, as I mentioned, undefeated. They, along with ULM, both 2-0 in Sun Belt Conference play. You got the Cajuns at 1-0. Middle Tennessee, FIU, both 1-1. You got Arkansas State, FAU, and Western Kentucky all at 0-1, and North Texas is 0-2. Overall in the conference, ULM, Troy, Middle Tennessee, and the Cajuns, all with winning records. They are all at 3-2. You got Arkansas State, that is 1-3. North Texas and FIU, that is 1-4. Meanwhile, FAU is winless at 0-4. Western Kentucky winless at 0-5. A reminder, you can hear the Ricky Bustle Show each and every Wednesday evening live from Baja Sports Grill on Bertrand across from Cajun Field every Monday evening from 7 until 8 on Sports Radio ESPN 1420, ESPN1420.com. Meanwhile, the LSU Fighting Tiger football team suffered their first setback of the 2009 regular season as Coach Les Miles' fourth-ranked Tigers fell to the top-ranked Florida Gators 13-3 Saturday evening at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. LSU's offense simply could not move the ball, although the defense did play outstanding. Florida outgained LSU in terms of total yards, 327-162, but LSU really couldn't get anything going offensively. Tim Tebow did play. He threw for 134 yards in the game, also rushed for 38 yards, but as I mentioned, LSU had a hard time moving the ball. Jordan Jefferson only 96 yards through the air, and Charles Scott, the leading LSU rusher, with 53 yards. So Georgia remains undefeated for LSU. It's their first loss of the year. Now, LSU will have a couple of weeks to fix their offense. Tigers will be back in action as they are 5-1 overall, 3-1 in SEC play. LSU back in action on Saturday, October 24th, as they play host to the Auburn Tigers. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff time at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Meanwhile, the rest of the SEC School Board from last Saturday, conference matchups. Number 17 Auburn falls for the first time this year, dropping a 44-23 decision to the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Tennessee easily over Georgia, 45-19. It was South Carolina squeaking past Kentucky, 28-26. Undefeated Alabama continues to roll. The third-ranked Crimson Tide defeats the 20th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels in Oxford, Mississippi, 22-3. Non-conference games: Vanderbilt falls to Army in overtime, 16-13. Mississippi State falls to Houston, 31-24. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints had the week off this week. Saints, of course, undefeated. They will play the undefeated New York Giants coming up Sunday at the Louisiana Superdome. Kickoff time in that one is set for 12 noon. Also a reminder, the Acadiana High Wrecking Rams back in action this coming Friday evening as they travel to Lake Charles to take on the Bar Buccaneers. You can hear the game right here on Sports Radio ESPN 1420 and ESPN1420.com, beginning with the pregame show at 6:25. Kickoff time is set for 7 o'clock. That's your update here this week. updating news with Louisiana's Raging Cajuns, the LSU Fighting Tigers, the Sun Belt Conference, the SEC, and of course the New Orleans Saints. We'll be back next week to tell you about what happens in the upcoming week. Thanks for watching and listening to ESPN 1420 and ESPN1420.com.